All right, let's get right into it. When you're setting up your first short-term rental, it is so easy to get caught up in the big stuff. The photos, the pricing. But today, I want to talk about three things that can secretly make or break a guest's entire experience. Your check-in, your checkout, and your house rules. If you get these right from day one, you're not just renting a space. You're building a professional operation from the ground up.
A guest can walk into the most stunningly beautiful property you've ever created and still start their stay feeling completely frustrated. Why? Well, because the arrival was confusing, the instructions on how to get in were clear, or they just had no idea what to expect. That first impression is absolutely everything, and trust me, it starts way before they even open the door. So, here's the first thing you've got to understand. Check-in and check-out, they're not just items on a to-do list. They are literally the bookends of the entire guest experience. That arrival moment is probably one of the most emotionally sensitive parts of the whole stay. And the departure? Well, that's the final memory they're going to take with them. Now, this is where you really have to put yourself in your guest's shoes. Just imagine for a second, you're that person. You're tired from traveling, you're juggling bags, you're in a place you've never been before. At that moment, even the tiniest bit of confusion can feel like a massive problem. That's why a smooth arrival isn't some nice-to-have luxury. It's a fundamental part of professional hospitality. So how do we fix this? How do we make it better? Well, the goal of a really solid check-in process is simple. It should make the guest feel confident and totally reassured. We want to get rid of any and all uncertainty before it even has a chance to create stress. The key here, and I can't stress this enough, is clarity. Your arrival instructions should be step by step. You got to anticipate their questions before they even have to ask them. When can they show up? Where exactly do they park? How in the world does the lockbox work? And maybe most importantly, who do they call if something goes wrong? Answering these four simple questions removes all the guesswork and helps the stay begin in a really calm, controlled way. All right, let's move on to the stay itself and talk about house rules. A lot of new hosts either have no rules because they don't want to seem strict, or they have this giant list of don'ts because they want total control. Honestly, neither of those approaches works very well. The real key is to reframe how you think about rules. They aren't about control, they're a tool for support. And this right here, this is the whole mindset shift. An amateur operator writes rules to stop bad things from happening. A professional operator writes rules to help a good stay happen more smoothly. It's a subtle difference, but it is so powerful. Your rules aren't a list of things you can't do. They're a guide to having a great, respectful stay for everyone. So, what rules actually matter? You want to focus on the things that genuinely protect the property, the neighbors, and the experience itself. Things like quiet hours, that's not just about being restrictive. It protects everyone's ability to get a good night's sleep. Parking guidance, that prevents major headaches with your neighbors. The rules should feel like they're directly connected to the real experience of being at your property. So this brings us to the practical side of things. And you don't need some complex 20-page manual. All you need is a simple, logical system for thinking through the entire guest journey from their perspective. I absolutely love this framework. It's called the Stay Guidance Lens, and it's a super simple audit you can run on your own property, like right now. Just by answering these four questions, you can immediately spot any gaps in your communication and build a system that feels clear, helpful, and totally professional to your guests. Okay, let's talk about that final moment, the checkout. This is your last chance to make a great impression. A really common mistake here is to either give no guidance at all or give way too much. The goal is to make that departure feel professional and light, not like you're handing them a big list of chores. And this just makes the distinction crystal clear. Asking a guest to take out the trash or lock the door, totally reasonable. But asking them to wash all the linens or deep clean the oven, no way. That's what the cleaning fee is for. A smooth checkout feels respectful of the guest's time, and believe me, it ends the stay on a really positive, appreciative note. So, let's pull all this together. Why do these systems matter so much? It's simple, really. When you create clarity, you reduce friction. And when you reduce friction, you build trust with your guests, and you build stability for your business. It's a win-win. And here's the bottom line. Most of the issues you'll face with guests, they aren't actually guest behavior problems. They are expectation-setting problems. A guest shows up too early because the timing wasn't clear. A rule gets broken because it was buried in some super long message. These are totally avoidable issues that you, the host, have the power to prevent. And when you do prevent them, oh man, the benefits are huge. The guest feels more guided and confident. The stay begins and ends on a much calmer note. Your property stays protected, your whole operation runs more predictably, and your reviews, they start to reflect that level of professionalism. This isn't just about writing instructions, it's about designing a smoother, more reliable business. Look, if you take just one thing away from this whole explainer, please let it be this. This is the core principle of thinking like a pro. Your systems have to serve both the guest and your business. They create a framework where great stays can happen over and over again. So, I want you to think about your own property with this question in mind. Really put yourself in the shoes of someone who has never, ever been there before. Look at all your communication from their perspective. Is every single step of their journey guided and clear? Answering that question honestly can immediately elevate your entire guest experience.